Okay, guys, we are live. It's Thursday night. Two legends in the house drinking alcoholic beverages while I'm on the Coke fucking zero beverage. What was I didn't know what I was going to say there. Keto in the house. Ivan in the house. Helen's waiting in the background. I can't wait for a little chat. We're going to do a little recap, obviously, because I haven't talked to the boys since the Origi 94-plus minute winner against Wolves and the AC Milan, half a team beating AC Milan 6 out of 6 was just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Then the return of the King, Stevie G, at Anfield on Saturday, of course. Aston Villa play Liverpool. So, boys, we'll start with the Wolves game. 94, I think it was 94, 32 seconds or something. Last kick of the game. I mean, that would have been points dropped because we deserved to win that game, you know, before Origi came up with that crazy, lovely winner. But it's great to win last minutes, isn't it, Keith? Last minute winners are just fucking beautiful, isn't it?
It's been a while now, I suppose. I know we had Alisson last season,
yeah.
You know, with a last minute winner, but that, it's tail end of the season, you know, whereas that goal kind of felt like it could be the start of something in terms of, you know, like your luck kind of getting in, because we've been so starved of luck over the last season and a half. You know, it felt like it because we did everything but score, really, you know, and should have been very comfortable, should have been home and hosed very early on in that game, to be honest with you. Had some great chances. Not throwing anybody under the bus, but fucking hell, we should have been in front. You know, we should have been in front by the time he steps up and does that. Like we did well, you know, we did well, to be honest with you. They've had such a good record at home, to be honest with you. They've not been beaten in 10 games, one defeat in 10 games.
Yeah, they had a great, didn't let in a goal in ages, wasn't it?
They're really, really strong at home from a defensive. Their setup is really good. And obviously when you've got like your Cody sitting in there, who's got a point to prove, and he's a Liverpool lad, you know, he's going to be throwing himself in front of it. And then, but listen, like Origi he just does these things, you know, like he does fucking nothing. He does absolutely nothing. He's just like, I suppose you hear Klopp talking about, I think that's why Klopp keeps him around. Klopp talks about moments. He loves moments. He loves talking about moments. And Origi is all about moments. He's just, that's what he does. He just pops up and does stuff. You know, he does nothing else. You can never turn around and say, do you remember that game where Origi played? Remember when he started with us, he had some games where he was actually quite consistent before he got a couple of injuries where he played quite well. You know, but since that, he's done pretty much fucking nothing in games and then just pops up out of nowhere, you know, at these times and does it. He did it against Everton. He did it against Dortmund. He did it against
Champions League final,
you know,
killed the game off.
Barcelona, you know, just pops up and does these crazy mad things, you know, and it's fantastic and does nothing else. Literally does nothing else, you know. Like even against like Milan the other night, he just did fucking nothing and scores, you know. Like it's brilliant. It's brilliant that we have something like that in our arsenal that we can just bring on, you know. Now listen, in a different side, you know, where he's getting a run of games, playing through the middle where he wants to play. Maybe he does a lot more. And maybe, you know, he's actually really quite effective. But listen, he just steps up and he does it. But what made that all the sweeter was all of their fucking play acting. You know, injured on the pitch, injured off the pitch, rolling back onto the pitch. And even Cody was doing it. They were all doing it, you know, just time wasting. And then, you know, time added on, tail end of time added on, we just pop up and we score a goal, you know. And it's brilliant that, you know, we kept going to the very end. And it's two pieces of absolute magic. It's the Van Dijk
pass,
low block, fucking long range buster that he was doing the season we won the league, where he just takes out the low block, and then it's control. And you know, Salah's control is all right. His pace makes up for it because, you know, it runs away a little bit, but he gets it under control. He gets his head up. He doesn't do something mad, you know, but try something crazy. He just feeds it into Origi and he just turns majestically and then just puts it in the back of the net. And it was just fantastic, you know. But we kept going, and we got our just reward, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no. As I said to Ivan earlier, we actually deserved to win that game. Jota missed one bloody.
I wasn't going to mention it. Yeah,
I know we have to mention it because that was some miss. It was his birthday. It was against his old team. He's going out for a few drinks and a birthday cake with the Wolves team that night. So they're going to slag him over that. So Ivan, obviously you love the last minute winner as well. And Origi, as Keith says, he hasn't. I mean, he's only 26.
Yeah,
he's like he's been there like for 50 years.
He's our Solskjaer. He's our Ollie.
Yeah, super sub. Yeah.
If you like, it's great to have someone like that in the squad who he obviously trains well. If he didn't and his attitude wasn't right, he'd be long gone, and he would have been sold for a lot less money than he's probably worth. But somebody who's happy to sit on the bench, happy to get a bit of game time, is part of a hugely successful squad. Suits him down to the ground, and you could argue how much money will we get for him? 12, 15 million?
No.
Or do we hang on to him?
You got Solanke for 20.
Yeah. And your point.
The problem is probably look. Sorry, Ivan, I'm cutting across. You go on.
No, your point about moments, it is about moments. Do you know what I mean? And when you look back on that, is that the 3 points that's going to get it for us? Do you know what I mean? It's that important. And when you look back on the year we won it, I think Southampton, Burnley, Aston Villa. Those last minute things,
huge.
They're the making and breaking of it. It's not the 4-0s. And the other thing, we've been winning games easy the last couple of weeks, really 3-4-0, blowing teams away. We played all right. We stuck at it. And then we pull it out of the bag. And it shows that kind of never say die. Just
mentality monsters. The mentality monsters is
but back. Also they don't give up. They don't do anything differently. They don't go so gung-ho that they might concede. They just keep doing the same things because it's been given results. And some days you get 5 goals, some days you get one in the 94th minute.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Exactly.
Like what you said, Van Dijk's ball was beautiful. I watched this big goal about 50 times. Salah's control, as you say, he controlled it, but the ball went away because he is so much pace. There was no problem Salah getting onto it. Yeah. But he looked up for Origi, as Keith said. He didn't do anything stupid and just fire it across the box or whatever.
I think he played it through your man's legs. I think he played it through his legs.
He did, yeah. Origi, but even the goal went through his Origi, yeah. But it was a lovely finish by Origi.
But if he plays down to its near post, it doesn't get scored. It's actually played slightly behind and allows Origi to take a touch and move it back around to finish it. So now listen, I don't know how much of that now is luck or how much of that is design, but there's only one place he could put that ball for Origi to get it under control, turn, because he's blocked off on his near side post. There's only one place. There's only one way you can play that ball where it actually turns into a goal, where it actually cuts back a little bit. It takes the 2 defenders out at the near post. He turns back around, and then he's just shooting against the keeper. So everything about that goal,
and I think
it's the 94th minute with so much pressure under absolutely everybody is absolutely sublime.
Klopp was obviously screaming his praises after the game, but if you I watched the game of the day, and I watched match of the day, and then I watched goals on Sunday the next day, and the Sunday supplement. Everybody's talking about how good a finisher he actually is. His goals are superb. Take it to the one of the Champions League final, right? I know he wasn't under a whole lot of pressure. He put it right in the corner. You couldn't have put it any tighter in the corner.
And he's on the edge of the 18-yard box when he puts that away.
Say again?
Pretty much. He's pretty much just inside the 18-yard box. He's not he's not 6 yards out. He's a good bit away.
No.
And there's only one place where that beats Lloris in that match. Yeah. But listen, the rest of that match, he's absolutely appalling.
Oh, look. Yeah, totally. And I think to your point, he's the odd one out of the top 5 there. He doesn't do the pressing that the others do. No. You know what I mean? He looks like he does, but he's nowhere near as tight as Mane or Salah are when they're chasing the ball down. He's cantering around, at kind of.
And even the celebration when he scores is like an aimless run, an aimless run to nowhere. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, Salah was more excited than he was.
Yeah, but even after the match, I was just listening to different podcasts and stuff around. I'm listening to the lads who were at the game. Even after the match, when the match was finished, the lads went over with the away. He just fucking runs down the tunnel. He's just scored 94-minute winner, and he runs down the tunnel. He's just
it's fucking. No, listen, that as you said, guys, that could be a huge 3 points because we just.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call it I don't think anybody called it out when we did it against Aston Villa that year. And that was a really big turning moment for us. 1-0 down with a few minutes to go, and we put it out of the bag. it's too early to call whether that was that kind of moment.
It's potentially.
But it does feel like we're building into something that's going to make us extremely difficult to beat.
But I think
going forward, the belief feels like it's kind of there, So
what I kind of see it is like in May when we're looking back, I think it could be one of those moments. Because when we look back in May from the previous year, we had the last minute goals. We had the Old Trafford moment with Salah taking his jersey. There was 5 or 6 of them when you went, you've got it. Do you know what I mean? And I think this one could be just one of them. There'll be a few more,
Yeah, that year now, I was kind of there was something in the back of my head, Stevens' day when we bet Leicester. Where I was kind of going, this is on. This is so much on now. I'm not going to be doing that now at the end of Christmas this year or New Year. Yeah. It's not going to be that season. To be honest,
you don't know, Keith. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm not sure how far we had ahead, and I remember I was down we were a good bit down at Loan, really by the Leicester game.
Yeah.
I think we were 10. We were.
Were we?
Could have been 7 or 10 points up at that stage.
Now we could be the same when it comes to Boxing Day, but it's
Jesus Christ,
unlikely,
you're right.
But I think you're right. The Leicester game and I just remember Trent's goal, and I'm sitting beside the young fella, and it goes in, and it's 4-1, and you're kind of going, oh.
But it was the way we played. The way we played that day, just absolutely dismantled them. And everybody contributing. Even. The goals we scored, the quality of the goals we scored, like literally 10 minutes in, it was just like it was a machine. We were pouring, just fucking, it was just like sitting back kind of going, I've not seen a Liverpool Football Club team in my lifetime, right? I remember the 80s, I remember, and I remember looking at them at the Leicester match kind of going, I've not seen this. I have not seen this. This is something special. This is just like, this is different ball game football. This is different kind of football. We spoke about it at the time, Yeah,
but remember, we just come back from the Club World Cup.
Exactly.
We had just come back from the Club World Cup, and we were expecting a really tough game at the King Power at Leicester City, because they were doing quite well at the time. And I was worried about that game, saying, going to be tired coming back from Club World Cup. We just won the first trophy. We'd never won the Club World Cup before. We'd won it. You'd be thinking nearly a hangover, even though you don't drink much, but you know what I mean, like psychological hangover. And we just
like you were talking there about momentum, and that was part of it. I think we had 10 games or 9 games, including the World Cup, including a Carling Cup or an FA Cup, and we seemed to pick the same team. And they were like, you think on Boxing Day they're going to be a little bit leggy because they played 6 games. They were absolutely out of this world. They were incredible.
It does feel, though, and we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and we were thinking about coming into this period, what's he going to do, and, when we were kind of saying, it does feel like he's going to go strong when he can go strong, and we'll see what way that leaves us, so I'd expect a strong side the weekend, and anytime we're playing in the league, it's going to be a strong side, to be honest with you. Like, our second string, I know we're going to move on to Milan now in a minute.
Yeah, we will now. Go on, we'll move on to it now.
But like that's second string side, and everybody knows exactly what they're doing. That's not a bad Milan side. Okay, it's a young Milan side. They had a couple of players that are out, but they're still pretty much
winning the league. The top of the league.
The top of the league. Listen, the league is what it is, to be honest with you. But listen, Juventus have come out of that group, come out of the Chelsea group, top of it. So you got to look at it that way. But like everybody knows their roles, their responsibility. There's quality there to step in. And like I was blown away by that result, to be honest with you. Blown away by that result.
I didn't expect it with the lineup. I really didn't, because I knew Milan had to win the game, to have any chance. They were poor on the night, but I just thought we sort of controlled the game from the first minute. A lot of young players on the pitch. A lot of players don't even really play for that much for Liverpool. The likes of Origi, even though, but starting is unusual for him. He's nearly better at coming on last 20. Oxlade, young Martin in midfield. He looks a proper player. I mean, Klopp looks to be over the moon about him. He's just a little bonus that's come in. Probably wouldn't have got a chance because of the likes of Elliott being injured and Jones being injured. It just shows you.
Yeah. It's a separate. Maybe Jones is more of an influence.
Maybe not this year. Maybe not this year.
Elliott. Because he's sitting in that position, but like,
unbelievable.
It's probably one of the most, I suppose, it's one of the most kind of positions whereby you need to have the most amount of mentality and discipline. And game time and, you know, noose about you in terms of that. Like that central DM position, you know, you've got to have smarts. You've got to understand the game. You've got to understand where you need to be. And he seems to have just stepped in there. Like, obviously, he needs to bulk up. You know, he needs to do what Curtis did and he needs to do what TAA did, which I'm sure he'll absolutely do, to be honest with you. He's only 19 years of age. But what a find. What an absolute find that is.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
you know,
we're getting all the players back.
We went one down in that game as well, to be honest with you. You know, 58, 60,000 people in that arena. You know, they had everything to play for. And, you know what? I don't think we got out of third gear, to be honest with you. You know, we got on level terms. We went ahead and then it was just like, listen, it was a bit hairy. And we made a lot of subs. So the period after we made those subs, I think, you know, they're probably good enough to get a draw out of it. And it just didn't happen for them, to be honest with you. But it kind of messed up the system. But up to that point in time, I just thought we were fantastic, to be honest with you. Absolutely.
No, I actually enjoyed that game. Did you? Yeah. It was a proper game of football, like, you know what I mean? And as you say,
he went a lot stronger than most people thought he would have gone, to be honest with you, right? So, like, I kind of had a fair idea what the back four was going to be like. I might have had two of the midfield. And I definitely wouldn't have had him starting Mane and Salah, to be honest with you. Yeah. Wouldn't have had that. So and I wouldn't have had Alisson starting either, to be honge with you.
As captain, he was captain of the game.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, you know, but we've got to approach that competition. So the couple of things, you know, we get to set yet another record. You know, first English team to go through a qualifying campaign, having won all the games. That's massive. I know he loves his records. He has to love his records because he goes for them time and time again. So that's fantastic, and it's fantastic for us, and it's fantastic for the club. You know, and if you look at it, 6 wins out of 6 wins, and you multiply that by 2.5, what's that? Is it 18 million?
65 million apparently. I got 65 million, not including TV money they've made so far for the Champions League.
You know, so
that's gates and everything, and you know.
So listen, the management, the app, like we're in great hands. No matter what way you look at it, we're in great hands.
And if some fans still moan. Some fans still bleed and moan. That's what I don't bleed and understand. You know what I mean?
Some people will just moan. That's it. You know. Hey, listen, we can all get dragged into that at some stage.
But no, as I say, really impressive.
Ivan's an awful fucking moan. Fucking hell. You talk to Ivan off this. You talk to Ivan personally, and fucking hell.
Yeah. My alter ego on Twitter. Nasty character.
When you're offline, it's not right, Ivan. Different man when he's offline. But guys,
what do you think, Ivan?
Yeah, I thought. Like on Morton, I thought he just, like, for him, I'd say he was told before the game, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple, get the ball, lay it off, get the ball, lay it off, and that's all he did. And you know, if he's watching Fabinho in training every day, he's going to learn so much. The other thing I thought, what they balanced the team really well in terms of. They didn't go too gung-ho with too many young players. Do you know what I mean? They balanced it there. So you still had Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's a senior player in the midfield. So he has somebody beside him to kind of go, what do I do here? Or are we sitting? Are we changing? I think great having Mane and Salah in there, because it must be great for any team to go out to the San Siro and go, do you know what? If we're under pressure here and, you know, somebody's putting me under pressure, I can knock it long, and there's a chance one of the boys are going to get onto it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking before the game, Konate just bossed Ibrahimovic out of the game.
I was just about to say that.
Manhandled him.
Like Nat Phillips, by the way, was phenomenal. Somebody just mentioned it there, you know. Like
that in the box was superb.
Yeah, when he just sent them off in the Evening Herald or the Echoes, they'd say in Liverpool, you know, was phenomenal. But I thought what Konate did was he almost took the mantle as the senior, the more senior defender there. Yeah. And although Nat was quite good, right, and he did what he had to do and he cleared when he had to clear, the amount of moments where Konate is the last defender and he takes it off somebody's toe, or he just gets the block in, or he does the Van Dijk stuff.
Yeah.
And he stepped up, right? And he did that on numerous occasions. And I was looking at that kind of going, do you know what? Yeah. You know, he felt like he was growing into that kind of position. So if we can get him like that with Van Dijk and really get him grown into that position, And like we know he's been groomed into that, you know.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
he's
That was the
obviously
plan,
spoken
Keith.
to say,
That was the plan.
There's a
That was
plan.
the
There's
plan.
an absolute plan around that, lads. That's it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to start, you know, kind of throwing other teams under the bus, but you know, there's other lads out there. Like I look at the team that was selected for. I'm not going to fucking even talk about them. They're so irrelevant. But that I looked at that match for United.
We know who you're talking about. We know who you're talking about.
I looked at that match of the night, and I looked at the selection of players that were just thrown into the mix there in terms of what he could have done with different players in different positions. You know, and it's just like it's mental. It's mental what they did. But however, it does feel like every single player has a plan. Every single player has a plan in terms of how many games, the number of games, the times, the minutes, when they're going to play. This stuff has been planned weeks and months in advance. We're chatting about stuff weeks in advance. Like we're going to talk about Villa now in a minute. And we're looking at off the back of the week beforehand. Like these boys are looking at it fucking...
Well, Keith, I would go so far as to say years in advance.
Yeah, and players and scouting, absolutely. But like in terms of who's going to play when and what games they're going to play and what they're doing, like I'm sure this stuff is planned out. It's weeks and weeks and weeks in advance, outside of some movement that needs to be made based on injuries. And the team know it, and the players know it, and the coaching teams know it, and they're all in it, and it's all together, and everyone knows exactly where they're going in, and where you're fitting in, and where you're going to come in, and the whole lot. So
and it probably feeds into the likes of Iggy being as happy as he is. You know, he's an example of kind of going, fair enough, I know what's going on here. You know, if we get a run in the FA Cup or we get through in the Champions League, I'll get me a couple of games there and see, you know.
He'll probably go on a free, lads, to be honest with you. You know, he's probably going a free. And no one will begrudge him that, to be honest with you. So he's probably earned the stripes in terms of being allowed to go on free. I don't know what he's got left on his contract. Is it the end of this season or is it the following season?
I don't know. I think there's 2 years.
I think it's 18 months, is it? 18 months, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised now if he just does what he does, keeps popping up, keeps scoring goals, doesn't re-sign a contract, and then goes on a free, to be honest with you. And I don't think anyone begrudge him because he's been, you know, he's a legend.
He's a legend.
As Klopp called him a legend.
Yes.
Sir Oswald Fortitude. We have as many points in the Champions League as Everton do in the Premier League. I know that's true. Yeah, that's unbelievable when you think about that, isn't it?
Rafa's at the wheel. I couldn't believe it.
I know. Yeah. Everton.
Yeah, good result against Arsenal. Against Arsenal.
Yeah, they came back. Actually, they did well. They deserved to win that game.
I want to see Rafa do well. I'm not one of these.
Smashing goal as well. Great from Demarai Gray. Absolute cracker.
Yeah. Right, guys, that leads us on nicely to Saturday, of course, at Anfield at 3:00. It's the return of Stevie G. We all know who Stevie G is, of course, who could eventually, maybe not, end up as a Liverpool manager in a few years' time himself. But as Ivan was saying earlier, he's a professional. He'll want to win this game. I mean, his stake will just go up higher anyway, even if he does get some sort of results. I expect Liverpool to beat Villa, but it won't be an easy game. What do you think, Keith? I mean, Liverpool, Stevie G, we'll have a quick word about Stevie G. I mean, Stevie G was some bleeding player for Liverpool, wasn't he? He was Liverpool for about 3 or 4 years when he was just at his absolute height, wasn't he?
3 or 4.
Maybe even longer. Maybe longer. Yeah. Wasn't he? He was basically Liverpool. I mean, if he wasn't playing in a game, we weren't winning the bleeding game, you know?
I was thinking about it today, just hearing the different kind of things. I know there's a lot of people now who are kind of saying, as far as they're concerned, you know, and I think you're always kind of, you judge players based on, you know, what you're looking at the moment sometimes, and sometimes it kind of clouds your, might cloud your opinion in terms of, you know, so I'm trying to be retrospective, but like, I think you're going to have to go a long way. Like, I know titles, you know, and different types of medals go a huge way towards saying the best of the best, but just in terms of his all-round play, like I don't know whether Salah will ever overtake, you know, Gerrard for me, to be honest with you. I just think he had absolutely everything in the game, everything. To be honest with you, I think Salah could very well pass Dalglish, you know, for me, in terms of his, you know, goal scoring and creativity. But Gerrard was better than Dalglish for me. I just thought he was amazing. I just thought he was brilliant. Just everything, you know. And like he played right back, he played centre mid, he played right mid, he played 10. You know, like he played all over the pitch and excelled in every part of the pitch he played in. And that period between, is it 7 and 9, 6 and 9, 6 and 9 is just, when you look back on it and you see some of the stuff that he did with the football, it's just phenomenal. So for me, he'll always, listen, unless somebody else comes along, after, he'll always be the best for me. So I think he deserves an absolutely, fantastic welcome. And when the match is over, he deserves an absolutely fantastic send-off. But in between, you leave all the sentimentality behind and we go and we fucking stuff them. That's as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. I'm sure he'd be the same way. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll want to beat Liverpool.
He'll know what he's going to get. He knows he's going to get a really strong welcome, and he absolutely should. He should get the hero's welcome coming back to Anfield. As a combatant against Liverpool, he should get that. He should get all the credit that's going and all the platitudes and the welcome. And should get a massive send-off at the end, and we should sing his name, I think, absolutely, and maybe before the game. But as soon as the whistle goes, I think it's sentimentality needs to go out the window, and he wouldn't expect any less. He wouldn't expect any less, and that's the way we should approach it.
Listen, as you said, I mean, he dragged us that FA Cup win against West Ham. I mean, that goal he got, the 2 goals he got, he basically got us that cup final, and we all know what happened in Istanbul in 2005.
Yeah.
So he basically won us. I'm not saying on his own, but he really dragged us through those 2 cup finals. Without him, I don't think we're doing it. And we're not doing it with him on the pitch. Without him on the pitch, are we? And he was in pretty poor teams, not great teams. You know what I mean? Not as good as the team we have now.
I think that's what separates him. And and I also think not only as a player, as a coach, right? So if you look at his coaching journey so far, and I know it's only a short one, Dalglish, when he took over in whatever it was, 86 as player manager, 87, whatever it was, he's coming into the best Liverpool team of all time, better than the Brazilians, unreal. Didn't need to be coached. Everybody knew where they're playing. They would have been European championships for years and years, but for Heysel. So very little to do there. And I think, when Dalglish comes back then, when he's asked to come back by the Americans with Steve Clark, you actually see Dalglish's kind of shortcomings as a coach with a weaker team. He just was, he's not as good. You look at Stevie, a superb player in a weak team, and he did win us the Champions League, and he did win us the FA Cup, and he did get us to finish second and all those great nights. But look at him going to Rangers. What a huge club. And he's gone there on his own, and he stopped Celtic winning for the 10th year in a row, having finished second with less money from the Champions League, and he's gone on and beat them. And listen, to me,
he had an unbeaten season, didn't he?
No, he's gone and
well done.
Was he unbeaten in that season?
Yeah, he had an unbeaten season, didn't he, Keith?
So I didn't think he was unbeaten. Now, if he was,
don't keep a close eye in that league.
Even better. But I just think to him, he is a different breed. He's different to the others. And as you said, on Saturday, he's going to get a huge welcome. At a minute to 3, the switch will flick, and he'll just go into game time and then back out. And he will be the manager sometime in the future. But for him, game day is game day. I don't really care who I'm playing against. I'm going to have to get you. And the flip side is, Stevie, we're going to have to demolish you on Saturday. We love you.
We love you. We love you, but we're going to beat you. Do you know what I mean?
In a few years' time,
Yeah. I think eventually he probably will end up
there.
There's just too much going on. There's just too much going on. So what do you do Saturday?
I do think though he's not the manager after Klopp. He should not be the manager after Klopp.
No.
And there should be some concession.
Yeah, Keith, what's good is...
Would you have Pep Linders?
I don't think he thinks he is, right? Do you know what I mean? And I don't think the Liverpool fans thinks he is. So there's nobody bluffing anybody here, right? So it'll be right when it's right. And we'll all know, because it'll be in 6 or 7 years' time, and he'll have taken Newcastle to the Champions League, or he'll have done something else somewhere else. And we'll all be certain, now is the right time.
Do you know what? The pressure will be far too much. Imagine coming in, say Klopp leaves in 2024 when he said he's going to be leaving. I mean, anybody coming in 2024, 25 is going to be under a fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the wrong time to come in unless
it's probably, I think someone like Pep Linders or someone else could come in there, you know that? But anyway, that's another day's work.
Did you see his assist today? Did you see that?
Well, was that him on the fucking pitch?
The staff game.
Inside out
players.
Holy shit.
Yeah, fucking brilliant he was. Absolutely. I think it was John Octoberg in goal. I'll have to slag him. The other thing is Saturday. What would you go? Obviously, go strong. We want the 3 points. We have to say something that it's a Stevie G. But what would your starting 11 be for Keith for Saturday? Back to the full strength.
It's back to the full strength. There's probably one position in midfield that's probably up for grabs. That's pretty much it. But if we've got Leicester midweek. Have we got Leicester midweek in the quarterfinal? Which that's going to be throw a few lads out for that, to be honest with you. So we can afford to go strong. He's rested some players midweek.
Is it Southampton at Anfield next week?
Southampton at Anfield, yeah. So after that,
so a few Anfield games. So
like I wouldn't be changing it. I'd go exactly the same way he went against Wolves. I'd go exactly the same. I wouldn't change it. That for me, and feels like that's the way he's going to go. To be honest with you, looking at listen, we don't know. There could be some other bits and pieces going on. There could be some lads close to the red zone or whatever else it is that we're not too familiar with. But all things being equal, everybody being fighting fit, raring to go, it's the same side that starts against Wolves for me.
Yeah. What do you think?
The only question mark is Thiago, whether he starts or not. And
for Ox, someone like that. Yeah,
maybe for Ox, exactly. Or if Milner is around. But again, it's the same. It's Matip and Van Dijk, the two boys at fullback. Picks itself.
Yeah, I thought Ox had a good game the other night as well. He's pushing for it.
I'd like to see him get a goal, or I'd like to see him.
Yeah.
Like the reports, like you're seeing, he's playing well. There's no two ways about it. But you'd like to see something in the papers or on Match of the Day where it's Oxley Chamberlain dominated the game, where he actually
the
grabbed
finishing products, the finishing sort of
scored.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that. He's getting there, but I still think, and we said it a couple of weeks ago.
Fantastic assist for Salah during the week.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think he still
needs. Good run into the box, good shot, parried, scored. So so listen, that's for me. That's there could be maybe a little bit of a mix up, or maybe just a shake up or a refresh of the midfield. But there's nobody else going to start up front, is there? So
I don't know what's story with Bobby.
Yeah, he's back training today, but he won't be available for Saturday. See Bobby training today.
It's great. It's fantastic to have him back, isn't it?
Right. We're getting everybody back. We're getting everybody back at the right time.
He's going to have to get games back before the lads go off to So like we've got Jota. We could have a starting against Watford and Crystal Palace. If that's what it looks like, you're probably looking at Origi, Jota, and Bobby up front, or maybe but they're the three striking options that we'll have for those two games.
Yeah.
Isn't it though? I mean, the games are coming. 2 games a week nearly this side of Christmas.
Yeah. It is. It's 2 games a week.
We're getting everybody back. It was the exact opposite last year. They were dropping like flies. Now everybody's just is coming into the crowded room, and it's only really Elliott out with a long-term injury, and even he's back in some sort of training. Hopefully back in January or February. I mean, Curtis Jones has a mystery with that eye injury. I mean, how he's still out with that eye injury. He's still a week or 2 away. But Bobby was back in training today. I seen him with Naby Keita. Naby Keita's back. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant to have all these.
Yeah, Naby's the other one. Good point, Dave. Like Naby could be. Naby came on, did all right. So great, another body to choose from. Yeah,
another body on the bench. That's what it's all. It's all about options, lads. In so many games, someone goes down injured or something happens, you want to change it. You have loads of bleeding options on the bench. And that young lad Morton, he's not even afraid to bleed and throw him in. He just isn't. He obviously trusts him. He has to trust him.
Well, you've got to fancy him to be involved against Leicester. He'll probably start against Leicester.
I think he starts. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we won't stay on much longer because it was a nice little recap. I'm going to go 2-0 the weekend. I just think we'll have too much for Villa. It won't be an easy game, but we love Stevie G, as I said earlier, but I want to win the game. I want the 3 points for Liverpool. It's all about winning the game for Liverpool. That's what it's about. What's similar with you boys? Just win the game and move on.
Win the game, but I'm going 2-1.
All right.
I think they'll score.
I think we might be back to our 2 or 3, to be honest with you. So I'm on the fence between. I'm just trying to think about. Although Watkins likes to score against us, doesn't he? To be honest with you,
McGinn is playing very well as well.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about Stevie is he's brave. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't realise Jota was missing from training today. Eamonn just popped that in. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, I don't think it's nothing serious though.
Okay. But
they won't be afraid, you know. And Stevie
they've actually got a good record at Anfield, lads.
Yeah.
They've got a good record at Anfield. Now they had up to last season before last. But I think that listen, I know the crowd will be, you know, Stevie, great, good to see it back, and then after that, then it's just going to be, they're going to be up. The crowd's going to be up. I know it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, but I'd expect the crowd to be raucous. So, you know, we're you know, I think we're going to be up for it, to be honest with you. And if we're up for it, I don't think they've got enough in their artillery to be able to withstand us. So, yeah, 2-1 sounds 2-1 or 3-1. 2-1 or 3-1. I'm hedging my bet.
The 3 points. It's just about the 3 points and go again, as they say. Guys, I think we leave it there. Cedric is saying 2-1-2. But Keith, Ivan, thank you very much for coming in. Happy Christmas. 2 weeks tomorrow, Christmas Eve. So we might as well say it now. Happy Christmas to everybody in
Merry
the
Christmas.
comments too, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas. I'm dreaming of a red Christmas. So, guys, stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
The Reds to beat Villa the weekend. Cheers, guys.
Talk to you later, lads. Take care.